So you're saying Punch is with Augustine Mukoka?
Punch has never even made a midweek call. It was like an emergency meeting. No, I'm going for my questions. Pwezani, can you please advise me on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? It's never happened that way.
So are you saying Punch is working with Augustine Mukoka?
Very soon, Punch will be sharing Augustine Mukoka's articles. Very soon, you tell me. But meantime, Manafundushana during Kamanga.
Augustine in Chitan Bomb. I knew that it's just temporal, this friendship. That guy doesn't keep friendships.
No, but it was and Jones.
Anyway, Ambani show, guys.
Hello, Mukamba Vaso, I am Bakudana, show South Pasana Oni.
Welcome to Get Up. Welcome to Was that you are a problem? You're a problem. You're a problem. Get Up. Welcome to Saturdays
of Fuzz.
Welcome to Saturday's morning Zambian football show. We've got a lot in store for you today. A lot of big topics, big talking points, and there's been drama all throughout the week. Let's start with this coming weekend, starting today, the Zambian Super League is back on TV. What do you think? It will be live on Top Star. What do you think about the developments? Let us begin with Musiani.
Let's begin with Musiani. But anyway, look, at the end of the day, something is better than nothing. So I'm happy that, finally we've got some sort of deal on the table and we'll be able to access games. For me, the most important thing is for us guys who actually don't live in the country, how we're able to access this game. And even for Doc, who's all the way in Mongu, where he trains with Zanaco when they're in Mongu. At least now he can sit at home and also, subscribe to Start Times and watch the game. And I've gotten a lot of people, they were negative. There was backlash talking about Stinga Stamba Malik Pafoni, etc. But literally it's on Top Star. So I'm understanding you can get a decoder and watch that. But for us, even guys who on your laptop, simply connect your HDMI and you're watching it on TV. So at the end of the day, I'm excited. What I just need to know is it the same structure as SuperSport, in terms of, are they now going to be able to beam games? Are they going to be like double headers, the way SuperSport used to do us bad? You say, Zanaco versus Red Arrows, and you have Nkwazi versus Green Buffaloes, for example, and you end up having all those games at Sunset Stadium. Teams are not playing at home; they are playing away from home, but they're at home. So those are just the questions I still have to say. Are we still going to have these double headers? Are they literally going to also beam games separately? What would have been more interesting for me is maybe we don't have the capabilities, but at the end of the day, where we have a situation where there's two games showing, that's a dream for me, where one is being played in Kawe, one is being played in Osaka, and maybe Sun TV can divide and have that situation going. I hope we can get there eventually, where you have for example, your SuperSport 1, SuperSport 2, SuperSport 3 type thing, and I hope we can eventually get there. But what's important here, and what's really important, is that we've got something that's better than nothing. So I can only judge the quality when I watch the first games today. I'll see how it goes. 140 something kwacha out of my pocket. If I'm now paying poor quality, I'm actually literally going to write a letter to FAS to demand my money back if the quality is poor. But otherwise, big up so far. It's been 100 and something days, and that's what people have been writing about. But clearly and slowly but surely, I think things are starting to move at FAS.
Jones.
I expected a launch. If there was a launch, I was going to be. I don't know if they're going to launch so that we know the details of the deal. We know what is involved, how they're going to be showing the games, what is in it for the teams. Are they going to be paying the teams? What is it? We expect at least some launch. We know what is involved. That's when I'll be excited about it.
Justice.
He's talking to Klings
Okay.
Kangwa. Just give him a second.
Oh yeah.
Medias.
Is it
Okay,
me or-
Justice.
Yeah. I think just to echo John's point. Of course, I expected a launch too. I expected, there to be an official launch where the details are given out to the public so that we understand uh, how much our clubs will be earning. One, two, how the broadcasting will be. We have double headers. We have shows dedicated just to the to the league. We have build-ups. We have post-match reactions. We have like just a whole package. I think since Topstar is a sole broadcaster, I think we need to have exciting shows around the ZSL, the Z Premier League rather. We need to get more engagement. We need to see. I mean, is it to copy or at least to have things a package similar to what we see from the PSL, from what we see from the EPL. I mean, something that brings the Zambian game closer to the fans. So I think the whole idea is we don't know much about the package. All we know is the game will be on Sun Sports. That's all. And there'll be two games this weekend. I think we need a proper launch where all the details are ironed out. Otherwise, all in all, it's a good thing to have our games on TV. I think last weekend we complained bitterly on this point, on this platform rather. It's a good thing to have the games on TV. It increases visibility not only of our football but also our players. I think that's the most important thing at the end of it all.
Medias.
Thanks, Punch, and good morning, everyone. So for me, I'd say it's a great start. I'm happy that we've got something going. Obviously, this is the beginning. First year, first time. It won't be seamless. It won't be smooth. Obviously, we're going to have some glitches and the like. But one thing I can assure you and everyone is that it will improve. So for me, I'm excited. It's a good start. Happy to have football on the screen and just hoping that everything improves. But yeah, kudos to everyone involved. And I'm glad to have football back on the screens. Yeah.
Yes, why shouldn't it be smooth when we've had Super Sport? It's like we're just riding on what Super Sport had already started. I think it should be smooth actually because we have something that was already happening and we're just building on. So it should be better. It should be you get my point, right? It should be if you're signing something new, it should be better than what was before.
Yeah, you're right, Doc. But one thing you have to put into consideration is the financial aspect. Obviously, DSTV was a bigger brand than Topstar. How much was a DSTV subscription? You also look at the clientele, like the Lions here they had, so DSTV really had money. That's the reason why they never had issues of setting some, but with Super Sports, it's all different, So it won't really be smooth. I don't think so, but it will get better with time. That's what I can say.
But Milia, I expected you because I mean, over the last 2 weeks, you've been saying we. So I expected you to give us some sort of outline of exactly what the deal is about, how it's working, are clubs getting money from it? Do just guys rock up at the stadium and say, "Oh, guys, teacher a game yan lelo next weekend tibura kwanu"? I mean, how is it working?
Unfortunately, I didn't get that data, but if you so want, I can do one or two. The next week, I can give you something. But this week has just been hectic.
Okay, so the games will be live on TV this weekend. That is on Topstar. So if you are not on Topstar, you can just follow the Topstar page and you'll be able to watch it. ZNBC announced, that's TV3, that it will be on TV3 today, the two games, as well as Sun TV, which is also on Topstar. I follow Sun TV quite a bit. I've watched it before. They cover a lot of sports in terms of, they show documentaries for different sports and different leagues, and it'll be interesting to see. So it's a Zambian company, Sun TV, and it will be interesting to see. I always, when there's a Zambian company involved, for me, I'm always happy, particularly a private company and an up and coming company. I'm always happy to see that, because it's through our game, through our own companies, that we can grow. We look at what SuperSport is homegrown in South Africa. Look at how it has grown. Azam is homegrown in Tanzania, and look at how it has boosted. So whenever there's homegrown, for me, I always support. And no matter what the challenges are, obviously there will be challenges which will come through. That is only natural. But for me, I'm always eager to put support when it's homegrown.
Punch, just a quick one on this one. The Topstar platform itself, who runs it? At those halftime, full-time man of the match, when they're giving out Topstar decoders.
I'm not sure. Topstar used to cover the National Division 1. This was
But
the other
who owns
season.
it? Because full-time, when the man of the match, when they're giving out Topstar, and would TV allow or SuperSport allow for a different platform to be given as prize money or as the man of the match? So is it also South African owned?
Who? Topstar? No, Topstar. I don't know where Topstar are from. I believe they're from China. I stand to be corrected. But Topstar is the platform. It's the entire platform. It's like DSTV. DSTV is the platform where all these channels sit. Then SuperSport is a channel on DSTV. Similarly, we have Topstar, which is the platform, and then we have ZNBC, which is a channel, and then we have Sun TV, which is a channel on these platforms. And for me, it's a very good initiative to see two Zambian channels who will be broadcasting the games. And it will be very interesting to see moving forward. I don't know, like the nitty-gritties. I'm not so much privy to how sports broadcasting on TV works. So I'm not so sure into the nitty-gritties and the finer details of how this will work. But just them being on Zambian-owned TV stations, it's a positive for me. And it's going to be interesting to see how they build. So I'll be really looking forward to see, like, how are they going to do the presentation before the game. That's the analysis before. How are they going to do it halftime? How are they going to do it after? And remember that there's always new things that can be added in terms of media, in terms of broadcasting, even social media. I've observed since the Premier League began, they did something new this past weekend. Okay, it's not new in other places, but it's new in the Premier League. They had halftime. They had an interview with, I think it was, I can't remember which Arsenal player it was. This was the match between Arsenal and
Martin Odegaard.
Manchester United. It was who?
Yeah, so that was actually. So that was
Yes,
actually.
Martin
That was actually
Odegaard.
talking about.
Martin Odegaard.
That was
So
actually
it's
talking about.
a new innovation in the Premier League, though it's not necessarily new, because I remember way back in 2016, Zambia was playing a crucial match in an Africa Cup of Nations against Guinea-Bissau. And at halftime, I just got surprised because we were carrying the feed from the Guinea-Bissau broadcast. At halftime, they called the captain of Guinea-Bissau, and he had an interview. So I was shocked. Why is he having an interview at halftime? But then after I did some research, I got to find out that actually it's common in countries like in Portuguese-speaking countries, in those leagues. So Brazil, I don't know, I'm not sure so sure about Portugal, but a lot of Portuguese-speaking countries have these halftime interviews. It's very common there, and it's been common for about 20 years. So you see, the innovation has been brought to the Premier League. They say that this is something good that can work in the Premier League, and hopefully this is a similar situation that our new broadcasters will see that, okay, what new thing can we bring in? It may not be something big, just to make things more exciting. So I'm happy to see that Zambians are involved, and let's wait and see what happens. Bwezani, you want to share your views?
It seems he's not here. Maybe just to share my views about this matter. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you.
Okay. You are on Kanji.
I've just joined.
Okay, the truth of the matter is, I think so far, the people on the ground, sources Zambian company actually owned by Zambian in terms of everything, and the deal they have with Topstar and everything. I think the previous one, I think they defended them, say the quality was based on the other side. Let's hope on Sunny today, but I think the things and everything that's on ground, it looks good. Having seen it, like having witnessed the kind of work they are putting in together and everything, for me, there is hope for good coverage because they have got everything, and it's a well-built company. And wow, it should be a good deal. But the only thing that is of concern is, okay, ZPL, they have sold the rights of the league to ZMBC3 and Sunny, which is under Topstar. The issue is, what's the deal? What's the package for the teams? Because this issue of not announcing the package that's there and everything. I'll give an example of the deal of 3.2 million for Eden University for women's football. It was never announced, but when you ask, this much, but when you look at what the winners got from what they were saying the deal is going to give, it's totally different. So would love ZPL to come out clean and tell us to say, and do some official announcing to say, okay, there's a Topstar deal and it's broken in A, B, C, D, than just giving us say, and actually, this information is being given out by bloggers because there's no tangible official communication from ZPL. So for me, I think ZPL needs, we need to know how teams are going to benefit. We need to know. DSTV, we knew the deal. Yaba Supersport, I mean, we knew the deal. We knew how much was involved. We knew what was getting. But why is ZPO, let's say, holding on to information that is vital for people? Because they did this same thing with the deal of Eden Invest for Women's Football. They held the real information despite people asking. They never came out. This same thing, ZPO should come out and tell us what's involved. Tell us what the teams are getting. Tell us, or if they don't want to tell us how much will be given to the team, okay, let them tell us how much worth is the deal, because we need to know whether it's a 40 million deal, it's a 2 million deal, it's a 100,000 deal. We need to know what's going on and what's involved in this deal. But otherwise, in terms of broadcasting, I think the guys, they'll do a good job, and they have got good, everything is in place for them. They are going to do a good job. Let's hope Sunny will be able to transmit direct from the pixel, which they are going to send them direct, because ZNBC3 failed to do that during chat shoot, which resulted into poor coverage. But let's hope Sunny will do better. But otherwise, we are concerned about the deal part of it. So what's involved in the deal? Last time when Topstar was covering women's football, they are giving women's football a 30,000 kwacha each per season. For the number of games that were covered, each team benefited a 30,000 kwacha. But for ZPO teams, you can't give men's ZPO team a 30,000 kwacha. Is for what? Other teams, that's just one salary for a player, even less. So I think let's hope it's a better deal.
Bozani.
Yeah, interesting conversation, and I think makes a lot of sense. The contribution are making a lot of sense. I heard Musman earlier talking about DSTV. So, Evan, I think Punch, you broke it down very well. So we are not going to see the Zambia Premier League on ZNBC 1 or ZNBC 2, at least for now, because ZNBC 1 and 2 sits on a DSTV platform. And ZNBC TV 3 does not sit on DSTV. So Punch did explain the platform of Topstar, and of course it's a Chinese company, which is another platform that Sun TV is going to sit on, and that's where TV3 also sits on. There's also Musa TV actually on the same Topstar. So it's a growing platform. Important points that have been raised. I don't think, I seriously doubt that we have finalized. This is the way we are going to watch the Zambia Premier League the whole season. I seriously doubt, because there are a lot of things that are missing on this one. The announcement of the 2 games that are going to be live this weekend were as well on the Facebook page of the Zambia Premier League. Okay, so the 2 games were actually announced there. What is the missing is the official announcement of how the Zambia Premier League will be beamed live this season going forward. Okay, so let's talk about the numbers. The SuperSport deal, the last SuperSport deal was 1.2 million kwacha given to each team. Okay, and that was huge. So you are talking about close to, so that's 18, 2 times 9, that's 18. So you are closely talking about 25 million that was given to all clubs. Okay, around that much. You come to understand how good it was for the clubs. Okay, so I think this is the reason as to why there's no clear announcement for now. And what is good also for this stopgap, I call this a stopgap because there's no announcement that is given. Okay, this is a big thing for the Zambian Premier League, which they have to rush to announce to say, we have finally found a broadcasting partnership. okay, who has the rights of the Zambian Premier League, because for now you can't go with a phone and start streaming. Okay, you are in trouble with the Zambian Premier League. Okay, so for this week, it's been given to Sun TV and TV3 on Topstar. You understand? So the bigger part about this whole TV rights is actually with the clubs. How much do they get from the deal? Okay, before that announcement is given, I don't think we can actually settle down and say we are done for the season. Okay, for me, I think they are working round the clock to just have a permanent broadcaster who is going to show the Zambian Premier League. I think this one is just a stopgap. That's what I would say. To break it down to those that are listening, what do you expect on a TV rights program for the games like the Zambian Premier League? You expect the teams to benefit. That's one. Okay, that's direct money. Okay, so a broadcaster who comes, and when the TV rights are bought, the first thing is how much are the clubs getting? That's always number one. Okay, because them as a TV thing, they are going to get their money through different advertisement. Okay, so these are the two things that are very critical. The other thing is now the production itself. Okay, I think it will be a Zambian company. Today, it will be interesting to see. So those of you that are in Lusaka today and tomorrow, go to the stadium. You can also tune in to Sun TV on Topstar as well as TV3 to appreciate. One thing, I liked what King says. One thing that happened in the charity shoot, it was very difficult. Okay, it was very difficult because if you're watching on TV3, the buffering was actually too much. The buffering is that round circle that goes on the screen like the internet is not working. You understand what I mean? And you have to wait for some time. It took close to 10 minutes for people to wait, and it comes back. That's not the way you want to watch TV. Okay, so that is an issue of the production. Okay, so I'm not conversant with the Sun TV equipment. I'm not conversant with what the TV3 used, okay? But you can clearly tell that was internet, okay? Now, why am I bringing the internet issue? I've worked with SuperSport, and we all know the quality that SuperSport brings because they use the satellite. The last phase of SuperSport, they were using the AI camera. That was internet. At the first start, if you remember when AI started, that was Gaspar was the commentator, was the lone commentator before Babo joined him and the rest of us joined later. You understand the challenges that it was. Sometimes it would actually stop because it was purely internet. We later improved it because now there was a full production house. So the AI was being fed into satellite, and towards the end, AI was working without buffering. You understand? So that is where all these questions are supposed to be answered, and just make sure that we have a production that is not going to bring a lot of discussions again. So I think that's the reason I'm saying, for me, I think this is a stopgap, because if it was a full-time blown to say this is the way the Zambian Premier League is going to be broadcast, I think we expected a big announcement. We also expected statements on how the deal is, how much are the clubs getting, who are in charge of production, you understand? So there are all these matters that are missing. And until that time, when the Zambian Premier League comes out and explain this, then some of us are going to settle down and say, okay, we are good to go. That's what I would say for now. So I would say let's watch today and also go to the stadium, because the Zambian Premier League deserves to be on TV. Thank you.
I'm a bit worried with Bwezani's statement, coming out saying that this is a stopgap. So, in as much as there's been no official announcement and Zambia Premier League has announced that they'll beam these two games, it's a bit worrying. So are you saying that the current FAS administration are literally doing a trial and error and haven't solidified anything? This is basically a trial and error. And if this trial and error does not go through, they'll have to move on to another platform.
Yeah, you look, you can call it a trial. You understand, and I totally agree with you. Okay, because if it isn't a trial, the gaps that I'm talking about, the gaps that Kings talked about, were supposed to be made very clear. You understand that? Because it's not. Look, this is money that the clubs are supposed to get. Today, if you ask Zanaco how much, no, Zanaco is not on TV. If you ask Red Arrows and Mines how much they are going to get, I don't think they have the answer. You understand what I mean? They do not have that answer. And if they don't have that answer, you have to go back to the Zambian Premier League to ask, and they're quiet. It's not
So are
something
you,
that you need to query. Let me
so are
finish.
you
You
saying
asked the
there's been
question.
no communication with the clubs? So is it that type of situation where I call Red Arrows this week and tell them we're coming to your stadium? No one else is allowed to use their phone, but we're coming. We've got the rights to this. Is that what you're saying?
So the Zambian Premier League is the property, the Zambia Super League rather, is a property of the Zambian Premier League. Okay? And their product is the football game for that 90 minutes. Okay? The clubs are members of the Zambian Premier League. So what I'm saying is, if this is a public information, it cannot be hidden. And this is the reason I'm saying, if the clubs were aware, you and me were going to be aware how much this deal is. The fact that you are not aware, you understand, it's a public information that is supposed to be given to the public. As long as it is not yet out, I'm going to call it a stopgap, as they are trying to see what is going to work out for the whole season. I don't think, and it's my opinion, okay? Before this is kept out and say Bwezana said ABCD, it's my opinion. Until that time, that the Zambian Premier League come out in open and say, this is the way the Zambian Premier League, the Zambia Super League is going to be broadcast, then we're going to level out.
Just because I made just a correction there. ZMBC 1 and ZMBC 2, they are on Topstar. I think you had said they're only on DSTV, so they are there on Topstar. So it's on that. I think I'm not sure why they can't cover the Premier why they always take us to ZNBC3. There should be a reason, because we need to know. Also, ZNBC has never made it clear. So yeah, maybe that's a correction.
So let me be very clear with you. So when we say ZNBC TV 1 and 2 are on Topstar, okay, thank you for that. But what I'm saying is, the Zambia Super League cannot go on 1 and 2, because Topstar will be empowering Super League to be on DSTV. You need to get that clear. Okay?
I've heard that.
Yeah. So what I meant was,
I'm clear with your point. No, you had just said they're on DSTV, but on that point where if they televise it on ZNBC, which means even those on DSTV will watch it for free. I've gotten your point.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, but otherwise, those guys on the ground doing a good job. Everything. And as Bozan have said, last time it was on the studio that let them down. Let's hope Sun FM has what it takes to capture the graphics that they're able to send from the stadium direct to the studio.
Okay, thanks, guys. So the games start today on TV. You can catch them on Topstar. This is both on Sun TV as well as ZNBC TV3. There will be 2 games over the weekend. One of them being Red Arrows, who are going to be in action against Mines United. It's going to be a very exciting game between the 2 teams. That's today. And then the second one is tomorrow. Also, both games at 15 hours. Second one tomorrow, a big one. here in Lusaka. But if you can't make it to the stadium, you can catch it on either Sun TV and that ZNBC TV3. That game is Green Buffaloes, who will be facing Power Dynamos. Power Dynamo side who will be playing their first game in the league, first game of the season in the league. Moving on.
Punch, before we leave this topic.
Yes.
Yeah, so the Get Up show, the two channels that hold the rights is Pancharelo Chama and Bwezani Zambian, okay, the two pages. Today, we have African Football Sports and also on YouTube, who has gotten this without the rights. Okay, now, these two pages are supposed to pay. I want people to understand what the rights are supposed to pay to show the Get Up show on their pages. Okay, so the African Football Sports TV are committing a crime today to broadcast this Get Up show live on their page. Okay, and we are going to find out who is running the African. What is this again? It's called the African Football Sports. We see. you see, where has he gotten the rights? That's exactly what we are talking about when we talk about the Zambian Premier League. Okay, so we are going to do investigations. Of course, I know it is Kings. Okay, and I hope he paid for subscription. Jones, did he pay?
No. Oh, he paid. No. He paid.
We can proceed, Punch.
The way Jones is tough. Me, who began this show, being almost removed because I didn't pay for subscription. Jones is not a good guy.
This
Jones is not a good guy. Big
buyer. Big buyer. He's a good guy. Big buyer is a good guy. Let's leave Big buyer alone.
Big Buyer,
When the man
okay.
doesn't come up, Big buyer chips in. Ufuna hamba buyer present.
Okay.
Ufuna hamba buyer. Hamba buyer.
Okay, moving on. The Zambia national team, obviously, over the next 2 months, both men's and female, will be in action in qualifiers for the Africa Cup as well as World Cup. And one huge topic has been the issue of the stadia. Which stadia are they going to use? Are they going to use the Levi Monawasa Stadium as well as the Hero Stadia? Well, there's a development around the Hero Stadia. So I just brought this topic up in the last minute, but I think it's very important. And this is that both stadia, Heroes as well as the Levi Monawasa Stadia, they will see solar being installed there so that they become self-sufficient and so that they can be able to run. So guys, I don't know, what do you think about this development? Do you think it's something that is a positive and that will over time help these two stadia, which seem to have been on the downside when it comes to the quality as compared to when they began? So we'll start with Musiani.
Look, the solar arrangement is a good arrangement. I think now we can even beam live. I mean, night games. Obviously, Heroes, you can, you've always had your night game, but even when it's a bigger game like Zesco versus Zanaco, for example, if they can even use the stadium, have the game at 7 p.m. On a Saturday, and have electricity without worrying about Zesco, because obviously Zesco never, register their electricity. So at the end of the day, we have a situation where now, we are able to, have all these night games without any interruption. And, I know there's generators there, etc., but, solar comes in a little bit more handy. So for me, it's a good development. I'm a Heroes fan. I've never been a Levi Monawasa person in terms of stadia. So I'm a Heroes fan, and I can't wait for it to be back to, where it's at. I think, us Lusaka people really go and support, the national team when they are playing. Punch, in as much as you are saying where I've got a World Cup qualifier, I'm not so certain. And don't we have a bye, if I'm not mistaken, because we're supposed to be playing Eritrea. So isn't our next World Cup qualifier after September? I'm not so certain. I need to double check that. But that being said, it would be happy. I'll be happy to see the games back in Lusaka and back at Heroes, and we hope that with the images I've seen, I can safely confirm that the $300,000 has been spent well as compared to how we saw it spent. So for me, kudos, and I hope the stadium gets back to business, and we can now start watching our games in Osaka.
Is Punch there?
Jones, you can come in.
I don't think so.
Yes, I'm here. I had some network issues. Jones, you can come in.
On the stadium, Hero Stadium. Yeah, it's
What do
yeah, Levi Manawas has been. Yeah, it hasn't been really. Zambia has never really settled at Levi Manawas. It's never been a fortress. It's never been. Yeah, it's been like a forced home. Like we've tried to make it a fortress. At sometimes we play some good games there, but we've just never. Zambia has never really established themselves at Levi. So let's see how Heroes, which has also struggled to just establish that national feel, that national stadium, like the way Independence Stadium felt. But in terms of fans attending the games, I think we are better off having games in Lusaka. Lusaka people are more enthusiastic about football than in Ndola people. Usually people to go to Ndola, it's not really like Ndola people it's a struggle for Ndola people to watch games. Most of the people that watch football in Ndola, they come from other towns. They come from different towns. But Ndola people, when you look at Zesco games, they don't really support Zesco. Zesco has been on top of Zambian football for some time, but still they failed to attract the serious fan base. That's why the Zambia Premier League find it easy to punish Zesco in 2 days of committing a crime, and Nkana has committed crimes for 1 year. They are just sitting on the case. So yeah, Ndola people they haven't really supported Zesco United despite Zesco. So I'm in support of football coming back to Lusaka, the national team playing our games back in Lusaka, where Lusaka people can fill up Hero Stadium. We can make it an intimidating home ground again than the way Independence Stadium used to be. So yeah, I just hope like this time there will be no interruption on Hero Stadium. It's been a start-stop so far, and yeah, so it's good that the government has moved in and they have done a great job, and they have brought in the machines to maintain to help with maintenance works on the turf, and I hope the clubs that play there can be more responsible and protect the facility than what we saw last season in Ndola. Let's be responsible and protect these facilities. I think this money that is being spent on this stadium is no joke. $100,000 just on repair works. It's no jokes. So let's all be responsible as fans. Let's take care of the seats. Let's not be overzealous over nothing. You destroy a stadium over a team that doesn't even win anything anymore. They talk about Lewinsky tournaments. They won 13 titles in Lewinsky, in UNIP.
Jones,
Come on,
Jones,
let's not destroy stadiums because of such teams. They can't win. It's not the stadium's fault. If they can't win, they can't win. Let us be responsible. Don't take it on a stadium. The seats won't score goals for your team. Okay? So I just hope we can all be responsible and take care of these facilities. Please. Thank you.
And just to add on, Jones, at the end of the day, hooliganism is really from the Copper Belt. You won't see that type of behavior in Lusaka where people are trying to take seats and whatnot. Usually when that happens in Lusaka, it's a team coming from the Copper Belt that brings that hooliganism. So, I concur
But
with
Power
Jones.
Dynamos is on the Copper Belt. And
Yes, but
stadium is
we know which team we're talking about here. So at
Thank
the
you.
end of the day, those hooligans that come from the Copper Belt and whatnot, I think in Osaka they'll be put in check. That behavior won't be accepted.
Thank you.
You see, Punch, the only issue I have myself when it comes to this, I think also the management at Hero Stadium, it needs to be fired after this renovation. Everyone should go. We need new people who are football oriented, because what's really destroying Hero Stadiums, not only football. You can't have weddings, Africa must pay a person in the same stadium, your maps with cars. Last time they were even putting cars on the pitch. Direct on the pitch, they're parking cars there, and all kind of churches and everything. We appreciate churches. I'm a church person, but churches should not say they're events for churches. If a church is coming to use a stadium, their hosts at Hero Stadium, or let the church members sit in the terraces, while in the running track there they can put a stage, not by abusing the pitch. So the pitch at Hero Stadium is really abused. Every week there's an event. Every week, even if the government is going to spend $100,000 to renovate, but if we don't remove the people, we don't change the mindset of the leaders there, then we are just wasting the money, because that's a lot of money. The stadium was destroyed due to all these kind of events.
King, how do you expect Heroes to bring in any sort of income?
And they should put a regulation, because a playing surface, you can't be parking cars there, Musman.
Kings, those churches and concerts, they bring money to the stadium. And it's just the use of that money. When the events happen, let's use that money correctly in cleaning up the stadium, bringing it and making a profit. You can't just wait for football. The stadium has to remain active.
How is Lev Mwanawasa managing and making money?
There are events at Lev Mwanawasa,
but not on the pitch.
Okay, ya picha imeweka matando nzo paki ya mamoto kapa pitch nkaiboy ona hapo. So
no, I've seen it. That's why I'm saying so.
You don't know that even FNB Stadium in South Africa hosts concerts and other events.
Okay, guys. Maybe I've come in.
All right, thanks, Punch. So for me, good developments by the government. Firstly, I think the solar idea was genius. Zambia, we've struggled with electricity. So the two stadiums are going to generate 20 megawatts and push it in the national grid. I think really that's a good idea. But for me, I think since Kings is talking about income, I think it was going to be wise if that 20 megawatts was being sold by the two stadiums, sell it to people in close proximity. If it's Lusaka, sell it to people in Mandevu. Let the stadiums directly benefit from the income. Like that, we're going to have money to maintain the stadium. The other thing for Heroes, I think, if they can find a club the way Zesco is, it would be nice. At least maintenance would be done, on a regular basis. But if we're going to continue using it as a multi stadium, concerts, funerals, everything you think about, I think the investment won't last. You understand? So management, government should come up with ways to sustain the stadium. You know, if you're going to have excess power, give a mandate to the stadium and let them sell it. You know, let them have an extra income. You know, but I honestly feel if we're going to continue using these stadiums as a multi-purpose thing, we are going to do the disservice to ourselves, because 2 years, 3 years down the line, we'll be talking about maintenance. So happy that River Stadium is coming back, but really I hope in this time management will do better. You know, Levy Manawas maintenance has been good, maybe because of Zesco as well, but Heroes was a disaster, and I'm hoping once it's done, management will improve. Let them do, you know, regular maintenance. Otherwise, I like the way Ministry of Sports is thinking. You know, I love the initiative. Hopefully, other government wings can also adopt what they've done concerning the excess energy. So, yeah, kudos, and I must say, let's see how it goes. Yeah.
Bozani. Are you there, Bozani? He's not there.
But the
So
same
the
has
yes, you
Punch.
wanted to say something, Jones?
I'm just asking a question. The same arrangement that the Levy has with Zesco, didn't the Hero Stadium start that with NAPSA? Like NAPSA can be taking care of the stadium every week.
They
I'm
had it
not
with
sure. What?
Zanaco too. It was our home ground for a few games in I think the 2020 season.
Yeah, I'm not sure how these deals work, but in Zambia, if we recall, just historically, these deals have had issues. The first one, in terms of national stadia being taken over by a club, was in the 1970s. Green Buffaloes took over the use of that's the Independence Stadium. In fact, as even into the 90s, Green Buffaloes were using Independence Stadium as their home ground until it must have been renovated, and then it Independence Stadium. But I don't know why they have decided to, when they actually have their
Independence Stadium is still under Green Buffaloes.
so anyway, this and you see the stand used for
Someone shared data with Punch. I repeat that.
the big
Where's that?
can you hear me, guys?
No.
Now we can hear you, man.
Okay, all right. So historically, there's always been an issue when clubs use or sign some type of agreement with national stadia. I'm not sure currently right now there's no club, I believe, which has got a deal with Hero Stadium, but it would be very, very good if such a deal was made. But then remember that Hero Stadium has got its own management as compared to before, where Independence Stadium it did not have a management, and that's why the Zambian army, together with courtesy of Green Buffalo, stepped in. But it would be difficult for any club to sign some type of deal for maintenance since the stadium itself has got its own management. So I think that's something we should be aware of. moving
But
forward, I
look, in
think
terms of maintenance, that's why that team has been put in place to maintain the stadium. But in terms of a team using it as a home ground, they are charged to use it as a home ground. So you pay, and that money should go to the maintenance of the stadium. So I think it's just a simple and straightforward issue here.
yeah, for Heroes, I think the disadvantage and why it's in bad condition is actually because it does not have a team which consistently uses the stadium. I don't know why. Stadium costs quite a bit to use for their home for its home ground. So I think maybe what needs to be done is explore different. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay. I think what needs to be done is to explore different Tanzania. They've got a completely different model to Zambia. What they have Zimbabwe is that they have a very minimal fee in which you pay towards use of the stadium. So this could be like a 1,000 kwacha. It's very minimal. And then what they do is that they ask you to say that if this number of fans at the stadium, us as the stadium organizers and you will split the money. So it will be I don't know if it's 30 or 40%. So when the match takes place, they are at the gates. There are officials both from the club and the stadium authorities, and they get the monies. They get the monies. They get the monies. They get the monies. After that, they do their calculations and get
Pancherelo,
what comes
Zimbabwe is
in,
very bad example.
not from the net. No, can you hear me?
Yeah, but you're saying Zimbabwe, that's a very bad example you're giving. Because that's a country that
That's why I'm
didn't
saying
even
that.
have their home
That's why I'm saying that.
in their country.
That's why I'm saying that it's not just Zimbabwe. So it's Zimbabwe, Tanzania, Malawi, Ghana as well. There are a number of African countries which do this model because they realize that the use to charge for the use of these stadiums, many clubs can't be able to afford. So in Ghana they do it as well. So
even Kaiser Chiefs FNB Stadium, they rent it.
yeah, I think so. I'm not too sure about.
Yeah, they rent it. It's not their stadium.
Then yeah. So anyway, so they share the monies, and that's how it works. But here in Zambia, you have to pay. So if, for example, if Hero Stadium, can you hear me? I don't know what's wrong with the network. Can you hear me?
No, we can hear you. We can hear you. Don't worry about Jones. We can hear you.
Hero Stadium charges 100,000. Charges 100 or 50 or 40. Clubs which use these venues have of the fact that Heroes may charge, if they're charging maybe 100,000, then to use the stadium of time you need to secure the stadium to after the game when it wraps up. So you find that 18 home games, that's 1.7 million. Then some clubs will be like, that's a lot of money. Why can't we use some of these other smaller venues where 20,000 or 10,000? Some of our smaller stadia even charge 5,000 kwacha per home game. You know, so they feel that it reduces on cost. So maybe a different model needs to be looked at. But anyway, Hero Stadium is being worked on. The pitch, so in the picture you're seeing a green pitch. That's not how up, and then they'll be put new pitch. They also bought a lawnmower. so that the pitch can be worked on. This isn't actually lawnmower. I've seen a lot of people are coming and talking about the lawnmower. I don't know where this topic is coming from of the lawnmower, but when you look at it, it's a tractor. So I don't. It's a tractor. It's, what do you call that? The thing which pushes behind the truck. A trailer. Yes, it's got a trailer. Then and I think it's got a number of trailers. One which weeds. So it's a tractor. It's not quote unquote a typical lawnmower. So that's what will be used in the facility so that it maintains the pitch. I hope it will be used in the correct manner and we'll be able to see the Hero Stadium pitch work in a very good manner, and we'll be able to play football again in the Zambia national team. So those are some of the issues. Gibson, your network is like the Charity Shield game. Yeah, okay. Why network is bad today. Anyway, moving on. Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can get you.
Okay, moving on. Zesco United have been the talk of the town over the last week because of something they did in the game against Concola last weekend. That game ended in a draw. However, during the course of the week, the Zambia Premier League released a statement where they have fined Zesco United 10,000 kwacha and also sanctioned them by giving Concola Blades a 3-0 victory because Zesco United used in it is 20 ineligible players. But what we do know behind the start with Musiani.
You know, I'll let Milia start this one because I think
which happen in the world.
Milias, can you start this one? I'll come in after you. Milias. Jones. Okay, guys, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Regarding the 20 unregistered players, I think it's very, very, very unprofessional from a team that's been consistently dominant in the Zambia Super League. I've always said this. For me, Zesco is the biggest team in Zambia. Whether they have a smaller fan base, whether they have this and that, they're the biggest team in Zambia because they've dominated Zambian football from time immemorial. So for me, it was very disappointing, to have a team go into a game and only to have all of them not be registered. Whether management made an error, but these are not errors where, this is where if I am, a Zesco Limited, I would fire the whole Exco. Straight, immediately fire the whole Exco because clearly they are not doing anything. But when it comes to flying to South Africa or going for trips, they're number one. The tickets are sorted. How can you sort out your tickets to fly out of the country, but you can't sort out registration of your own players? That's an embarrassment. This is the biggest embarrassment I've seen in Zambian football, besides the blue buckets is being taken from the stadium. This is the second biggest embarrassment I've seen in Zambian football. And you have an Exco that's there. Literally, you have to ask questions. What are they doing? What are they doing? Literally on a day-to-day basis. Something as simple as paperwork. What are you doing on a day-to-day basis? You can't say, oh, we missed this one. Then what are you doing? Are you that busy that you can't register players? The whole point of football is to play the game. And you play the game, you abide by the laws, and that's the whole point. Once you abide by the laws, the rules and regulations, then you can play football. But if you're not abiding by the rules and regulations, how are you going to find yourself playing a game of football. So for me, it's a huge disappointment from Zesco. It's a serious embarrassment, and I think Zesco Limited, in as much as you are saying, you're taking out 10,000 kwacha from Zesco United. Zesco Limited itself, who owns this club or whatever, should literally sit down and say, who have we put in charge? Why is this happening? Because a mistake like that is a serious, grave error where the whole EXCO should either be suspended or should be fired with immediate effect. Because the whole point you are there is to have a team to go and play a football game. But if you can't even register the players, then there's a problem there. We don't know what you're doing as EXCO. So for me, it's a huge disappointment, the biggest embarrassment I've seen in Zambian football. And for Zesco, I'm disappointed. It's a team that, obviously, as a Zanaco fan, I've been rivals with Zesco for the last so many years, because we've been the dominant forces when it comes to Zambian football in the last so many years. And it's a team I respected so much to a point where I said, these guys have proper management. These guys know what they are doing. These guys literally, have dominated football. They can go and play Sundowns. They can go and play this, So it's worrying. These are guys who are playing CAF competitions, etc. The next thing we hear that, they've been docked 3 points at CAF because they've also failed to register the team that's going to CAF. So if you have such small errors like that, you need to question the EXCO. And this is where Zesco Limited needs to be questioned to say, are you sure of the people that you have actually put in charge of this club? If you are sure, then you as well as Zesco Limited, we need to check you, because you can't allow a club to be fined, money taken out of the club, 10,000 kwacha. It might be small to a lot of people, but it's still, even 1 kwacha coming out of a business, which doesn't give you back money, is a problem. So for me, Zesco Limited needs to look at this EXCO seriously and actually tell them, if this happens again, you are all fired. Otherwise, if you let it go and say, oh, is a mistake, no, my guys are go busy. Busy doing what? That's their job. I'm not going to get paid at the end of the month if I didn't show up to work for the whole month. Or if I say, oh, no, the systems are still, they are down, but I was busy with another system. And yet, that other system is not relevant to the system that needs the company to move. So for me, very disappointing from Zesco. I think EXCO and all of them need to work harder. We understand that the CEO might have had a minor illness, etc. But at the end of the day, he still oversees these structures, and the people who are below him, etc. should also make sure that these things are running. And the CEO has literally disappointed me. And on this show, I've called it out so many times about the CEO of Zesco. I think he's done the same at Napsa Stars. When he went there, the team just dwindled. And I'm afraid Zesco is going in that direction under the CEO.
Gwazani.
Thank you, Punch. How can you start a season with the unregistered players? I think that's the big thing. Okay, you can talk in whichever way you want to you can talk in whichever way you want to explain this. But to be honest with you, the buck stops at the CEO. Okay, he is the chief executive officer, and one of the core business is to prepare for the season. Okay, is to prepare for the season. And what do you do to prepare for the season? Is football. What about football? The players that play. You understand? You can't lump that on anyone else. Okay, now we can now start breaking it down. Musman talked about the illness. He gets ill. There's someone who works, who takes his place temporarily. Okay, did the CEO write to the Football Association of Zambia, okay, to introduce this one, to say this one is going to be the registrar? Does he have the profile of registering players? You understand what I mean? Those are the questions. And you'll be very shocked. That game was played on Saturday. You'll be very shocked that the letter finally came on the 20th of August. What's the date today? Okay. The letter finally came on the 20th, introducing a totally different person, okay, a new person to start registering names. Okay. So it's definitely Pongali Wewe here, the CEO, who has failed this Zesco United team. And look, you cannot undermine that. That one is a huge letdown. For a team like Zesco United, okay, who are playing in the CAF Confederations Cup, champions, I don't know if it's about 9 times of the league. Okay, the standards are just worrying. You can get away from the relegation, from the registration matter. Let's look at other issues. When last on this panel did you see Zesco United unveiling their kit? When was the last time you saw we have unveiled the kit? We saw Kelvin Mubangaka Mpamba and the other Kabaso and the other Nigerian players being unveiled in the third kit, third choice kit, that white one. I think these are the questions, honestly speaking, that you should be asking yourself. That unveiling, when was that kit done? There's just a lot of things that don't seem like they're making a lot of sense. We can leave that. We go to the technical bench. We saw Tenant Chilumba carrying Black Label Charity Shield, standing in as a head coach. We saw him taking charge of the first game against Konkola Blades. And I'm sure today he will be on the bench against Mutondo Stars. Has he been unveiled? Nothing. Okay? There are even rumors, not even rumors, it's factual. The man was actually called, can we terminate this contract? Even before he starts getting paid. Okay, it's just telling you to say there are a lot of breakdowns at this Zesco United team, and something has to be done, honestly. Because this is a team, one of the teams that you may actually look out and say, well, if this team goes far, I think they're able to break into the group stage of the CAF Confederations Cup, but the happening do not point in that direction. There's just a lot that is going wrong. Okay? Because how do you sign a coach and before he starts, you call him again to terminate his contract? Actually, rumor has it that he has not even gotten paid from the time he landed at Zesco United. All those are CEO issues. I laughed when people were almost blaming TC and Ona Janza for the registration of players. How? Honestly, how? The technical aspect of the game, you have to actually be given the names to say, okay, these are the players that I'm going to use. It's not your case. It's not your business to know about who has been registered and who is not. It's the CEO's department that are going to come to you. You can use these players. Understand? And if the players, if the technical bench do not receive the list, in their minds they'll say, okay, these are players that are there. We can use them. So this blame has nothing to do with the coach, has nothing to do with the technical director. It's an administrative matter that is under the CEO. Unfortunately, there's no any other better way you can actually put this up. The buck stops at the CEO, and he messed up on this one. Big time. Not only this, some of the items that we've actually itemized here. Zesco United is sinking. The faster they realize that, the better.
Jones, are you there?
Yeah. Okay, let me come in. So I think disappointing start for Zesco. You know, their preseason was shaky. I don't think they played any competitive, friendlies. putting into consideration the fact that they're preparing for CAF. So for me, I think management is really failing them. I really don't understand. This is a club that's well funded, so it must be disappointing. And there's one thing again that really made me upset. So what Zesco United did on the first day is they fielded players different from the list they submitted. So in short, fielded imposters, because the list and the players on the ground were really different. This is an issue that we saw at when we had the National League playoffs, where the players are different from the list that submitted. So for such
That's
big
not
team like
true. It was the ID numbers, not the names.
yeah, the ID numbers, which is more or less the same. So for me, where is the integrity part of the game? You understand? If a well-organized structure like Zesco United can do such a lame thing, then where do we put the game? So really, it saddens me that people, could do something like that. So I think ZPL was lenient on Zesco United. Really, if we're going to clean our game, we have to start from the top. And I think Zesco is supposed to be docked maybe 20, 30 points, fined a lot of money. But otherwise, I'm really disappointed with Zesco, from the management aspect, integrity as well. You don't do such things. If when it was in Europe, I'm sure the CEO would have resigned on moral grounds. But since we're in Africa, people don't want to take ownership of their bad decisions, bad management. Life will go on. So, in conclusion, really disappointed with Zesco, and hopefully they can pull up their stockings. And I'm hoping the CEO can also resign. Otherwise, it's really a sad turn of events. My submission.
Milias, are you calling for the CEO to resign? Is that your final submission?
Yeah, I mean, on moral grounds, Musman. Firstly, how do you try to dupe the system? Secondly, how do you feel to register players when your core business is football? You're there to run football. So if you're not going to register the players, how do you expect the core business to run? So what are you doing there if you can't run the core business? You understand? So
Okay,
for me, on moral grounds, he should definitely resign. It's only
maybe just to come in.
nonsensical. But I'm not done. But you can come
Maybe
in, it's
just to,
fine.
oh, I thought it was this man who brought you back. Okay.
No, all right,
Maybe
you can
just
come in.
to come in to clarify something. Number one, it's not really that the ID numbers will affect. I think they were just swapped in terms of, for example, for Abraham Shankombo, you've accidentally put it on someone else, but the ID numbers were the players who were there, but they were just accidentally swapped. And the other issue is, it was not really the issue of IDs and everything. I think it was the issue of incomplete transfers. There were certain things that were still pending to be approved for the players to start showing on the system. So they just paid that need. I think maybe submission of those documents done late, of which it doesn't make it right at the end of the day, because the season is about to start, and you know how long sometimes take these issues of registration. So you can't do that just before the game. So at the end of the day, I think it was an oversight to the club, and it's a shame that the whole lot of Zesco, we have started finding ourselves in such scenarios and in such activities, because Zesco is currently the biggest team in Zambia, after Nkana. So we expect more, and it's a well-funded and well-organized team. well funded, but in terms of organization, it has always been a well organized team. But for now, we are beginning to question a lot. Maybe this is reflecting of what's really going on in the background at ZESCO, and I hope this can quickly be attended to, because in the long run, it would destroy the image of the club. And apart from that, it's embarrassing, and also the investors' confidence in terms of, let's talk of the bank that are in a MOU, or the sponsors, the extra sponsors, that they wouldn't want to be finding themselves in scandals like this with a club with scandal. If it was in Europe, let's say Nike versus Man U, such thing happens, you'll just hear next day Nike cancel the deal with Man U, and all such kind of things. As Miras have said, anyway, in Africa, certain things they tolerate, but it's really unacceptable what has happened, and it's something that we should never expect to happen again. And a lot of clubs should learn from this, even ZESCO itself. So it's embarrassing, and it's showing really what's going on in the background. But as we are talking, the issue was resolved. And please, I'll still urge you to say, come in numbers. And it's also a shame, there's something that we didn't. Mutondo Stars actually are playing a reversed fixture. So the game is going to be at Ndola Levi Mwanawasa Stadium, not in Quito, because Mutondo Stars, but they failed to secure the stadium. They failed to secure a stadium, so they have decided to request it to play a reverse fixture, which is also one thing that is also embarrassing. But please, as a ZESCO family, we come together and support the team as we are beating the team that couldn't secure a stadium. Thank you.
King, you started your summation as though you were justifying the clerical error, saying actually this was not the issue. The issue was the names were just swapped. It seems like you were justifying the clerical error. Don't you think that clerical error should not happen in this day and age?
That's why I've said it's embarrassing to have such an error as ZESCO, because ZESCO is a big club, and we don't expect such things to happen. It's unacceptable. The executive should do better, and whoever was responsible of this, I think they need to be questioned as to why this embarrassment, because it may cost ZESCO sponsorship in the future. And if it was other countries, this would have already costed ZESCO. So we need to be careful and to be professional. And we can't expect Zambian football to be professionalized with this kind of behavior, where small things, where not even Provincial Division 1, they should be happening. They're happening at the biggest event or the biggest Premier League football stage in Zambia, the highest. This is where we are saying this. So what is the world going to talk about? And also, what are people going to talk of Zambian football? To say such errors. Imagine the Premier League, Man U playing a game and docked points and saying, or Sundowns docked points to say no, because they didn't register players. Imagine the embarrassment. So we are embarrassed as ZESCO people. It's very embarrassing.
No, sticking with you. I mean, Bwezani has come out and said that ZESCO United are dwindling. They are going down. The management is terrible. Now we saw a situation where we saw the ZESCO ladies wear Adidas when flying into South Africa and wear Umbro afterwards. I mean, can we safely agree with him to say that ZESCO is actually dwindling?
Okay, one thing to say is there was a transition of power that took place at ZESCO, because ZESCO is under new management, my understanding. So I think the new management, they are up. These lapses we have seen the past nine, they are trying to pick it up from where they are. So this season, that's when they'll be in charge for the new management. So let's see what they will deliver for us between now up to the end of the season. That's when we can say that at the end of the day, with what happened, I think, yeah, the standards have gone low a bit. The standards have gone low to where we expect Zesco to be. And I think Zesco have never just really been the same after the departure of the former CEO, who was the vice president, not the current former, but the other one, Mr. Justin Mumba. But we hope Ponga can raise the standard again with the current new executive to give a favor to Zesco.
Milias, are you still there?
Yeah, Musman, I'm here.
Okay, now going to you, Milias. You've said for the head of Zesco, Exco, etc. Do you agree with Bwezani when he says that the club is actually dwindling? It's going down. Do you think it's the next good step?
Yeah, no, I agree. There are lapses, and Kings has told us that there's a change of management, and usually cases like this are there because change is not usually seamless, But the standards of Zesco have really dropped from the days of Justin Mumba, because you go back in the days, Zesco United beating, was it early? That can happen now. The Zesco of back in the days are big players, Kondwan Tonga, Jackson Jeswere. You can't compare them with what they have now. I remember Zesco United playing Sundowns. Sundowns was under pressure. Zesco United was almost making it to the semi-finals. Was it actually the finals? I don't know. But that's something that cannot happen now. So the standards have really, dropped. It's a sorry sight to see Zesco United being eliminated in the first round of continental football. That wasn't the case, So my only hope is that hopefully the new management will, put the pieces in order, pump in more monies. For me, nothing against Ponga. I think get another CEO, someone who's got grip on what's on the ground, because as a leader, Musman, if I'm going to leave my position as a CEO, obviously I should have an understudy who's going to carry out my duties seamlessly. So if I can't build structures within the organization, within my team, then I'm failing. So I think for me, the big man is really not up to the task. So I'd really urge the management to look at replacing him. Not that I've got anything against him, but a lot of things are just not right. So when Bwezani says Zesco has really dwindled, it's true. It's funny that you can have a coach, for 1 month, and then you choose to let them go. Like, who really made that decision to bring them in? So it's really bad. The structures are really bad, and they just need new management. That's the only way it would work. But sum it up, or Zesco United of today is really disappointing. Yeah.
Jones, the discussion here has been about Zesco United fielding ineligible players, 20 unregistered players. Milias has called for the head of the CEO. We've seen King here backtrack from previous conversations and has actually come out and said, there needs to be improvement at Zesco United in terms of management, and people should not worry, things will be fine. What's your take on this whole situation when it comes to, honestly, a whole team not being registered for a game, and now them being docked 3 points and having 10,000 fine.
Yeah, that is that's an amateur move by Zesco United. To be honest, it's not what we expect at a. It's not what we expect from a club that has been playing football at a high level for the past 10 years. They have played football at CAF level. They know the standards. They know the expectations. They have just lost their way. They are behaving like an amateur football club. All of a sudden, we don't know what has gone wrong. They have been making these funny things. Like I don't know what Kings was in the group the other day, trying to justify all that nonsense that's going on at Zesco. But look, they unveiled players they have not finished paying for, or they have not agreed or signed properly. They went ahead and put pictures of Kawaso Chongo with his painted nails. They posted picture of all these players but they haven't even reached agreements. Then we've heard of them failing to register, players and still going ahead and fielding them. We don't know what has happened to the standing coach from last season. There's been no announcement. We suddenly saw Tenant Chirumba on the touchline without an official announcement. Such amateur stuff that has been going on at Zesco. Like last season, the coach he didn't even know the mandate he had, whether he's staying for one game or for the 2 games. There was no official announcement. It's just been a lot of amateur moves at Zesco. I don't know what's happening there. There's no leadership. There's no structure whatsoever. We don't know who does what. It's just been this and that. And there's just so many confusion. I think things heads should roll. The whole ESCO at Zesco should just go. Like they should pave way. Even the communication is so bad. I don't know who is the communication manager or who is in the media team. He or her communication has been terrible. We don't know. We saw Zakaria Chirongoshi just suddenly appear in the team, playing a game, like no announcement, no pick, no what. We just don't know what's happening at Zesco. So all those things that are happening, I think the whole ESCO, starting from the chief executive officer, they should go. Heads should roll. They should pave way for people that are interested in running the football club in a professional way. Zesco is too big to be run the way it is being run now. We will face embarrassments, even in the CAF games. We will face embarrassments. We can't be running a football club like that, failing to register players. Even when you fail, there are so many struggles in failing to register players. But please, you have a very big team. Just don't play the players who haven't finished registration. Don't play them. Why go ahead and field them? So it's just been so basic errors at Zesco. I don't understand why King was here the other day trying to justify all these. Starting from the CEO, everyone should go. They should clean up that house and start all over again in terms of structure of the football club.
But Jones, you are calling for the CEO to be let go. He's literally just taken over from the club. He hasn't literally clocked so many months into the job. Are you saying literally he should go? Are you agreeing with Medios to say he should be fired immediately?
Ponga Liwewe?
Yes.
No, he has been there for a while now. It's not like he's been there. Ponga is he was first SG. He knows these basics. He knows leadership. He was running the whole football in the country. So why now is he failing to run a football club? He was in charge. He was the CEO of the football in Zambia. CEO of Zambia football at first. He was the one in charge of checking all these things if clubs are complying. Why now is he failing to run one football club? There should be something wrong there. If his hands are tied, he should resign. If he can't flex, if he can't do his job because of the hands that are meddling in the affairs, he should resign. Because everything at the end of the day, falls on his head, whether they are interferences, whether they what. That's why if you are a CEO who is a professional and you feel like you can't be professional in that football club, he has to resign. If you can't do your job properly, people are interfering. I know how these corporations work, these government-run corporations. Sometimes there's so much interference. They bring in people from the government to come and give them jobs and stuff like that. They come and get some jobs. So if you are a professional and you feel like all these things are interfering in your work, you should also humbly just resign, because all this rubbish is going on his CV, whether it's his fault or not. At the end of the day, he is accountable. He is responsible. He is a chief executive officer. He runs that football club. So if running that football club means that this is what things are going to be, he should resign for his own sake and for the football club's sake. He should go.
Okay, thanks. Yeah. We're having some network issues today, but at least we're back. So Zesco United, they lost the 3 points, bottom of the table, and top are Konkola Blades. So let's get straight into the next topic. These are the Zambian Super League matches
Punch, before we get on to the next topic, you need to give us your 2 cents on what's going on at Zesco. I mean, these guys are now calling for the head of Ponga to say he should just either resign on moral grounds, like Media said. And Jones is just saying, he's a former SG, he's got experience. That era was actually unacceptable. He should also step down. Give us your 2 cents on it.
It's not just one era, Musman. I've listed a lot.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, he should go.
Yeah, in any other field, in not even in outside, just in Zambia, in a lot of other fields, you'd be out or you'd be suspended for such errors, for such so many errors being made within a short period of time. I don't know the inside details into who's to blame, but obviously the buck ends with the one who runs the management, the secretariat, who is the CEO. So there's a lot that has happened which is wrong for under Zesco United. Also, I feel that Zesco United need to improve in issues to do with, they've been wearing the same kit for 3 years. The same kit for 3 years. And why is it that they've struggled to get a new kit sponsor? How? It's for me, it's something which I struggle to think of. Yes, Zambia's economy may be bad, but it does not mean that there's no possibility of money coming into football. We've seen just in the recent 2-3 years in Zambia, the rise of it's actually something that I'm working on, a short write-up and video, the rise of the marathons in Zambia. Just this past week, Zafico, the sponsors of Forest Rangers, announced a new marathon. I think they are going to be putting in 15 million kwacha for 3 years. And we've seen other organizations putting into these marathons, putting in 7.5 million kwacha, others 3 million kwacha, others 4 million kwacha, others 5 million kwacha. Why is it that marathons are attracting more and more sponsorship? We just saw the other day or the other month, Dumisani Ngube signing a deal for his Africa Must Think for, was it 3.5 million kwacha? How is it that Zesco United are such a big football, it's not such a even a football brand? If you had to ask on average 100 football fans, the top 3 recognizable football clubs they have in Zambia are not even football fans, just members of the public. Top 100 of them, name just 2 or 3 football clubs. Zesco United will pop up in over 70 to 80% because it's such a recognizable brand. Now, for such a recognizable brand to fail to attract a new sponsor and then just one individual by the name of Dumisani Ngube manages to attract a sponsor who's willing to put in 3.5 million kwacha in his conference, which takes place, I think, just on one day of the, or maybe, I don't know the details, but he manages. How are Zesco United failing? I mean, how? They're too big a brands. They're too big a name for them to fail to attract a sponsor who will come and put in a 1 million or 2 million or even a 5 million kwacha. You know, but they're still stuck wearing Atlas Mara, a company which does not exist. Now their club is at the COSAFA Women's Club Championship. They're not putting in any brand because I don't know if they realized that putting in Atlas Mara was, a little bit off. So they've gone with a no-name brand, which I think is actually a good idea because you can't be giving publicity to something which doesn't exist. But despite that fact, Zesco should be able to get sponsors. They have Hezonali in their squad, a well-known Zambia national team player. They have just signed Mwenya Chibwe in their squad. They had Tosta Sabata, a well-known Zambian player. They have all these players, Kelvin Mubanga Kampapa, who was at the club. They have all these well-known players who are in their equal rights brands, but yet they failed to bring in any new sponsor. I don't know. It's something which just puzzles me about how they failed. That in any other and maybe what Zesco need to do, they need to attract people who will join the club and will be eager to say, let's find sponsorship for this club. Now, I'm not saying that the people at Zesco United who are currently there are not pushing, are not trying, because there are people in any organization who are. But the fact that if anyone is pushing and trying to get sponsorship at Zesco and they're failing to, it's an indictment for the leadership. It's an indictment for the leadership, because I don't know. Anyway, let me not. I just find it very, very strange, very weird that Zesco United can fail to get sponsors, and then there are smaller clubs, even in the lower leagues. There are individuals who are getting huge sponsorships. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Moving on, the Zambian League is back. Week 2 this coming weekend. We're going to see a number of games being played and some very, very exciting games that will be in action for us. So let's just run through some of the games which will be available. Some of them will be in Lusaka and others on the Copper Belt. We will just check some of the fixtures. And obviously, top of the bidding, a lot of people are looking forward to this game, which will be played tomorrow. Aba Yellow Power versus Green Buffaloes. A Power side who are coming from 2 back-to-back losses in their preseason, coming up against the Green Buffalo side who equally lost. So we'll start with Aba Yellow. What are your thoughts about this game? And now, are we going to see the new signings of Emmanuel Osoro as well as Moses Shuma playing? Because in Kigali, they did not kick a ball.
Yeah, we were trying not to be like Zesco. So until we finished full registration, we can't field the players. Of course, we are a professional run football club. Yeah, but yeah, you are talking about the back-to-back losses. That, remember, half of our team was at Chan. So we had about 6 starters at Chan, and those really are very influential members of the team. And they are back with the team now, and we should return to normal operations at Power Dynamos, which is winning football games. So yeah, we are looking forward to slaughtering Green Buffaloes, and the team is looking forward to playing in Lusaka. Lusaka is almost like a home ground for us as well. The team enjoys playing in Lusaka, and yeah, we are looking forward to beating Green Buffaloes this afternoon and starting the league on a positive note. Yeah, the team is ready. We've been preparing for these games and CAF games for a while now, And luckily, also the guys at Chan have been keeping fit. They've been playing, which is really good. So yeah, we are looking forward to starting our defense of the title on a positive note. Yeah, we are ready for them.
So Power in action today. Tomorrow. It's actually tomorrow, not today. Not today, Abayebo. It's tomorrow where there will be an action, and it's going to be live. You can catch it on TV3 as well as Sun TV in relation to this game. Then Zanaco will be at home.
The game is at the Edwin Imboila Stadium, Sunday 24th, 15 hours. Yeah, sorry about that.
Then Zanaco are going to be in action today at their new look renovated Sunset Stadium. I haven't, funny thing, I've been hearing all these stories about Sunset being renovated. I've actually seen pictures. I was not able to make it for there was Zanaco, the bank, were holding a grassroots tournament the other week, but unfortunately I was attending the Charity Shield, and by the time I was back, I was not able to attend. But a lot of people said that who were there at Sunset during that tournament said that they were impressed with how Sunset is looking as compared to before. So they will be playing today, and they are going to be playing against Kansanshi Dynamos. Numba Mamba is calling for fans to head to the stadium, saying that it will be a good experience. Musiani, first home game of the season against Kansanshi, a difficult side. What do you think?
I'll start by saying, after our draw with Musa last week, Bwezani came up with a very nonsensical article trying to, discredit Zanaco and trying to say that, they're a team that would be facing relegation, basically, in a nutshell, this season. And, it was disappointing to see an article like that because it's game one. And how many draws did we have in game one? Why aren't you writing articles about all the teams that drew? You have Nkana that drew. Why aren't you writing all those articles to say Nkana is worrying? This and that is worrying. Quite all right, we had a bad season last season, but you can't literally judge Zanaco on game one. We've got the highest paid coach in the country. He's come into the club. He's brought some changes. We've got our Chan players coming back in Chishimba, who's back, and we have a left back that for me would do good for Zanaco. So things like that. It's worrying when you see bloggers write articles, because they disturb the masses, confuse the masses, and it's very worrying. And I think he should be very apologetic with after today's win. That being said, Kansanshi Dynamos is a team I've never rated. They come in, come out, but I think they'll come fresh after they're a very expensive team. They're coming to Lusaka from a $300,000 stadium, so obviously they'll come with confidence. Talking about our infrastructure, if you look at the last few years, we can count how many clubs have done something to their stadium. When you look at Sunset, yes, you can say this has been long overdue. But just a few years ago, just to have the whole Zanaco chairs and everything, the buckets is put together, I think people should give some credit to Zanaco Football Club because they're actually now pumping in, monies into the infrastructure of the stadium, and they're not given as much credit. I mean, if it was a Nkana or a Kawe Warriors, doing those developments, it would have been so much all over social media. Every blogger would be writing about it. Today, you see 2-3 bloggers writing about the developments that have happened. Personally, the pictures I've seen have been excellent, and I just want to give kudos to Zanaco management. This has been, much as it's been long overdue, it's still a development, and we'll see Sunset becoming a fortress. We'll see Sunset becoming a stadium that is going to be hosting your ABSA Cups, is going to be hosting your major, those games that happen in Koloma. They will now be coming to Sunset because, infrastructure, they are seeing the serious management happening right now at Zanaco Football Club. So kudos to the team, kudos to our new exco, kudos to the bank itself for actually bringing in this, and also kudos for them hosting an under 17 developmental tournament. I think you will rarely see clubs do anything like that. So I think Zanaco is making strides. I'm one person who, when I see something wrong, I go, I speak my mind. So I've been speaking against Zanaco from 2016. We've dwindled. We have never been at the place where we're supposed to be. And seriously, I must say, this season we'll look at this exco and say to ourselves, okay, they've done 1, 2, 3. Now what's happening on the ground? But simple things like an under 17 tournament are things that people should appreciate. I think bloggers should have written a lot about it, but I didn't see so many bloggers. I saw Pancherello write, articles about it at least, and thank you for that. But you're not seeing other bloggers write a lot about these developmental tournaments that happen. And this is where we get to know these young boys. This is where we get to pick these future talent, and things like that should be given so much airtime. Where you can now actually look. And at the end of the day, I really wish a lot of those games were actually, being beamed on your platforms like ZNBC. Those are games where, you'd want to see how the kids are doing, etc. And say, you know what, that boy has got potential. Let's put him in young Zanaco. Let's make sure that, he develops in a way that we want him to develop, because we've seen his potential. But that being said, kudos to them. Coming to the game against Kansanshi Dynamos, for me, the last season, the last 5 seasons, let me put it at the last 3 seasons. If you look at under Chris Kaunda, Zanaco was a fortress. He was a terrible, terrible, terrible manager, including Kelvin Kaindu. But you could never come to Zanaco Football Club and expect a win there. But in the last season, 2 seasons, with the various coaches we've had, people are now comfortable to come to Sunset and say, we can actually win this game. I think Numba Mumamba this time around has changed those tides. I think, honestly, you won't come to Sunset and expect to win that game. Kansanshi is a team that's coming from the division, and they are coming with confidence in their second game. But coming to Sunset to expect to win, that they know that that confidence, they cannot have that so much of that confidence to come to Sunset and think they can win the game. So for me, this would be a game for Numba Mamba to show us exactly what is put together. Seeing that even the likes of Chishimba back, Wilson Chisala, who I don't rate, by the way, but at least he's back in the squad. The new signings that we've put together, etc. And I really hope that this game. I don't hope, but this game is a game that Numba is now really putting his CV out to say, I have arrived, and this is what we're going to do. So I expect nothing less than a 4-0. And then just to end it, I had started by saying that, I was very disappointed in the article Boyzani wrote. I think he should also put, in that article, he should have also put to say, you do not go to Nakambala and expect to get an easy 3 points. No team goes to Nakambala to expect to get an easy 3 points. A draw is actually a very decent result. And this goes to show that Zanaco actually making strides and going to move forward coming this season.
What is Moose talking about? And you can't expect you come to Sunset, you don't expect the under this coach what Numba. He survived the relegation with the last game. What are you talking about? And it was the injustice done on that small team in Lusaka. What's the name again?
Okay. John, go and report that.
Wait. It's my turn to speak. You can't speak through me. Yeah, I don't understand where you are taking the strength from saying we don't expect to. Zanaco is a poor team. They just survived the relegation because of those penalty or those funny game in Ndola for Atletico Lusaka. They just survived the last minute survival. They were going down under this same coach. What do you mean they are scary now? You can't come to Sunset expecting a win. Every team now expects to win. Even Kansanshi is coming to win. So please, so those inaccurate stats you are giving us.
I think John needs to start following Zambian football, or Stas needs to follow Zanaco. Numba Mamba came halfway through the season, 3/4 ways.
But he hasn't really done anything that you can
No,
tell
let
us
me
that
finish.
he's now
You
scared.
said don't interrupt me. He came three-quarter way through the season under a team that was literally completely revamped under Wedson Nyirenda. He brought in players, brought in a whole new team. And Numba Mamba had to deal with those players when he came into the squad, he had to work with what he had to work with. In terms of you saying there was a funny decision, go and report it.
No, but what has Numba done that you are scaring us with? He hasn't done anything yet. I'm not
I've
saying
seen
he's
the
going to fail.
preseason.
I'm
That's
not
what I'm
saying
saying. I've seen the preseason
what I'm
game.
saying, he hasn't done anything yet.
Under Wedson Nyirenda in game 1, if we went to Musa, we would have definitely lost that game by 2-0 or 3-1. We've gone there and we've drawn the game, and I've said Nakambala is never an easy place to go to at any given point. So today, like I said, if you listen to what I said, today we're going to see what exactly Numba Mamba is bringing to the table, because now he's brought his team together. This is his team. It's got nothing to do with Wedson. There's only a few players at Wedson are still in and around the squad, but this is his team. And I'm saying that at the end of the day, we are back to being a fortress. In as much as you are saying, oh no, what qualifies that? Today you will see what qualifies that, and this is his team. For me, as a Zanaco fan, I'm looking at it and saying, let us see what happens today, and today will really define. But last week was also a definition, because before any Jim and Jack, when you go to Nakambala, we would go and lose that game. And we never lost that game. We drew that game. And you yourself, as a Power Dynamos fan, you know that when you go to Nakambala, you have struggled in Nakambala. So don't make it come out as though it was just supposed to be a walkover game. It was never going to be a walkover game. And today we are going to actually see the truth about Zanaco Football Club.
We went there last season. We beat them. They are finished. That team is no longer the same.
Okay, all right. Moving on. Medias. Cabo Warriors action against Prison Leopards, a derby today.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. I honestly don't think Prison Leopards are going to give us any issues. I'd say they had a good start last week, drew against Nkana. So I think they might want to build on that momentum. But honestly, don't expect a fight from them. And again, what really gives me confidence is that we've signed a new striker in Jackson Kampamba. So up front, we should be lethal. So this should be an easy win, even though it's a derby. Prison Leopards are still trying to get used to the Premier League, so they should really be scared. So it's in conclusion, I must say, Warriors will have an easy win, probably 2-0. Yeah, my submission.
Okay, all right. Just to wrap up, some other games that will be taking place over the weekend. We will see Nkana, Aba-led. Nkana going to be in action against, this is Nkwazi at Nkana Stadium. This is going to be an interesting game today between the two teams. Nkana have just unveiled a new player, Sakala Jr. Now, I had a chat with Enoch Sakala. This was about, I think it's a month ago now, where when he was in South Africa, then he says that, no, I'm back. This was after he returned from South Africa. He was on trials at Orlando Pirates. And remember that before Orlando Pirates went to Spain, he did get injured. So he ended up leaving the camp and he returned to Zambia. And I thought that maybe he would join Zesco United, but that didn't happen. Now he has joined Nkana. He was previously in South Africa playing there. And before that, he had moved to Egypt the season before, then South Africa, and now back to Zambia. He is at Nkana. So he's one of those players who has been unveiled, and it is expected that he will play a part in today's game. Nkana have got the likes of Idris Mbombo already. They've got Lazarus Kambole in their squad. They've got Charles Zulu. And so it looks like an exciting attack, except that also Ronald Satesate Kampamba, the legend, it looks like an exciting attack, but it should deliver. And he's one of the younger players who's now joined the attack. And it is expected a lot of people will be looking forward to him. Against Prison Leopards, which Nkana played to score a goal. So, and they're coming up against an Nkwazi side. Adrian Chama, who has joined the club, and top the likes of Bombo. They will be at home to not want to be. They played against Konkola. They will want to get a win. Home games than any other team in the league. They'll definitely be looking to get a win. And it's going to be a very, very difficult game, particularly that they had that ineligible player saga. So they will be looking to move away from that. They welcome back their national team players, Kelvin Mubanga, Benedict Chepeshi, Kabaso Chongo, so many of those players. It's quite a big squad now, and be looking to do also as they enter into the CAF Confederations Cup in September, that they'll be able to get a good situation. And Zesco United's crisis in terms of their goalkeeper situation seems to have ended after they signed 2 goalkeepers. This was after they announced 2 goalkeepers. Remember that they were in a crisis after Tosta Sabata left. This was a month ago, which left them for the first time in 17 years without a first choice goalkeeper who had either senior national team experience or CAF club experience. So the likes of Philip Sakauta, not experienced, good goalkeeper though, and the likes of, this is Levison Banda, playing for the junior Zambia national team, not much experience at senior national team level. It left them panicking, and they've signed 2 goalkeepers. Now, Mwenyachi were making a return to the side after having left 2 seasons ago, and the other goalkeeper, Victor, the Sochimi. So he's called Sochi Big. I think it's Sochi Big 6, and he's an interesting goalkeeper. He's a Nigerian, having previously played for Jamus in South Sudan. Now, some people would dismiss Jamus, that Jamus are South Sudan. Now, this is a team, believe you me, in the next 2, 3, 4 years, you'll be hearing about in the CAF Champions League. They've really invested. They signed a player very recently for.
You said the same.
No. I did not cut you. I did not cut anyone. It's my chance to speak.
Lusaka Dynamo story.
It's my chance to speak. So it's my chance to speak. So allow me to speak. So they signed a player from Uganda for over 1 million, equivalent to over 1 million kwacha. So they're a club which are really pushing and investing in this squad. They've been, over the last 2-3 years, they've really been signing players from across Africa. So signing Victor Sochimi was big because he's a player who had CAF Confederations Cup experience. He was first choice goalkeeper of Rivers United, who 2 seasons ago reached the quarterfinals of the CAF Confederations Cup, and he was there at the club. He played there for 2-3 seasons, so he was a consistent figure in terms of the CAF Confederations Cup. He's also played for Nigeria during the 2023, this is Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. He played a couple of games for the senior Nigeria national team. So he's a player with actual cap. So when Jamus signed him, it was big. Now that Zesco United have signed him, it's really a coup, because this Jamus SC side, when you look at their squad, they're really pushing. They're really one of the most aggressive African clubs currently pushing to sign and pushing to retain top talent. I don't know how Jamus failed to keep him, but it's a plus for this Zesco United side. He is a good goalkeeper as long as he can replicate that goalkeeping he did in 2023, he will be a plus. Mwenyachiwe, we know what he's done, we know what he's achieved with the Zambia national team. Is going to be a huge asset. And now Zesco United's headache is not having a first choice national team or CAF experienced goalkeeper. It is who starts. So I'm actually going to be writing an article on this. Is it going to be Mwenyachiwe? Is it going to be Victor Sochimi? Is it going to be Philip Saukaota, who's been in goal? Or is it going to be Levison Banda, who's the upcoming goalkeeper? Real headache for the Zesco technical bench, but it's a good headache. They look like they have a really strong squad in terms of depth now, entering into the league and entering into the CAF Confederations Cup. What they need to do is work on the tactics, and I think they will do very well. So those are the games which will be taking place in men's football. And then moving on, lastly, Zesco Ndola girls were in action yesterday. Lawson, you're saying you could hype Zambian players like you do foreigners. But Lawson, I was just hyping Enoch Sakala Jr. I mean, is he not Zambian? He's Zambian. I gave a background to Enoch. So I think, I don't want to get into it, but I think a lot of people misunderstand when I talk about African players. We need to, and I'll go back a little bit to this past week. I was watching the Premier League so they've got a show which comes in the afternoon Zambian time on Super Sports on Friday, and they tell the history of clubs. So Everton have moved to a new stadium. That's, what is it called? The something Dickey Hill Stadium. It's a beautiful venue. So not Super Sport. The Premier League actually went there to cover the game. They talked about the history, how it came to be developed and all that. Then they went and covered certain players, talked about their history. It's important that as our Zambian football fans, we know these players. Not that we are ignorant about these players. And for me, I do my part in terms of educating where this player is coming from and hyping them, because the players need to perform. There's nothing wrong with hyping a player. And I hype Zambian players consistently. So I said, I don't know in Zambia why when we hype a fellow African, we have issues. It's a puzzle. In Tanzania, you should see the way just when a player arrives, when Cletus Chama arrives, even if it's not such a good player, when Chris Mugallo arrived, they're the ones who popularized $1 million man, despite the fact that it was in Zambia where he was quoted for $1 million by Lusaka Dynamos. Anyway, not to move away from the topic, I just wanted to share my thoughts there. Yeah, Zesco Ndola girls are currently in South Africa, where they're competing in the COSAFA Women's Championships. I don't know, as we wrap up, guys, have any of you watched? I think James has come. You can just wrap us through. James, we do not have enough time, so we'll give you just 5 minutes. Tell us about what is happening. Zesco United, Zesco Ndola girls starting their COSAFA Women's Championship campaign with a win. Okay, I cannot hear. I cannot hear James. So Zesco Ndola girls managed 3-0 victory over Beauties FC. Beauties FC are a team from Namibia. Remember that this is the time that Zesco Ndola girls are competing in the COSAFA Women's Champions Cup. It acts as a qualifier for the CAF Women's Champions League, which will be taking place later on this year. The current champions of the CAF Women's Champions League are TP Mazembe ladies. So Zesco Ndola girls will be looking to qualify. Only one Zambian team has qualified for the CAF Women's Champions League proper. This was in 2023 when Green Buffaloes beat Mamelodi Sundowns in the final to qualify for the competition. In fact, they would have still qualified without beating Mamelodi Sundowns, because Mamelodi Sundowns were champions then. But irrespective, this is the first time any other team other than Green Buffaloes are participating. And Zesco Ndola girls will be looking to to do well. They've already started with a 3-0 victory over Beauties FC. Their next game is tomorrow on Sunday. They face Mamelodi Sundowns women's, ladies. So it's going to be interesting to see. Then their last game is against the side from Malawi. That's Topwa FC. The tournament is being held at the UJ Stadium in Johannesburg. It's actually free. I know, Musiani, you asked about going there. I saw an announcement that it's actually free. So you don't need to pay to go and watch the game. You just need to turn up, and you can watch Zesco and Dollar Girls in action. They are going to be in action tomorrow, where they face Mamelodi Sundowns women's team, who themselves started on a positive note. They managed to beat the Malawian side in Topwa FC 3-0. So both teams are joined top by a scoreline of 3 goals, and now the top 2 face each other. Mamelodi Sundowns have got a rivalry with Zambian clubs. As I said, they played almost each and every, they've played a Zambian club. Previously, before it was Green Buffaloes ladies, but now they're facing Zesco and Dollar Girls. James, are you there? Okay.
I mean,
Can't
here,
see.
Punch.
Okay, can you just run us through any other information for Zesco, the Dollar Girls, as well as for the women's football? But just 5 minutes because we're out of time.
Your Punch. What the other people? Alina mamarito problems.
Please mute him.
Okay, it's not even. It wasn't even James who was. It was someone else here. Anyway, so Zesco and Dollar Girls in action. Unless guys, you have final thoughts on Zesco and Dollar Girls, we can sign out.
Well, you had mentioned that
Musman.
we've announced. You had mentioned that they've announced that the game will be free. I believe that's only been announced because we had to make a few calls to certain individuals at the club, and I would really want to talk a lot more about it in terms of even the information that I had, the feedback that I had gotten. You know, it was very disappointing feedback. But anyway, that being said, I'll actually be going to watch the game tomorrow, and I'll be taking my sons with. Go and watch the game and hope that Zesco can beat Mamelodi Sundowns. I hope in future, which is what I always tell people, Zambian clubs, when coming to SA, you know, you can easily put a post out there to say, guys, we are coming and we'll be at this venue, and we're going to be playing so many games. You know, it took me just sending, you know, one fixture to say on Sunday, and a lot of Zambians based in South Africa are very interested in going, you know, because Sunday is now a chilled day. This is where everyone wants to go out there with their families and, you know, have an activity. And, you know, at the end of the day, whether now there's like 20 confirmed people going, that's a small amount. But if this had been known maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks prior, I think a lot of people would have actually prepared to come and watch, to go and watch Zesco Girls. But that being said, I'm you know, good win yesterday against Beauties. I'm very happy. And let's also note that Namibia do not have a women's league, so you know, it's a team that everyone expects to beat here and there, but it won't be so easy against Malawi, the Malawian team. And let's also note that to qualify to the next round, Zesco have to top the group. So I can only wish them the best tomorrow. We'll be at the stadium supporting them. I hope I can meet a few of the players as well. You know, it's good to see Hazel Nali back in football. My favorite player, of course, is Avel Chitundu. She's been my favorite player for a long time. I hope I get to meet all these guys, and, you know, and I hope my children get to have a great experience.
James, do you want to say something before we sign off?
Okay, yeah. you know, Zesco and Dora Girls, they're doing well. So, how we played yesterday, we won, but it was not really impressive. I'm hoping we improve against Sundowns because Sundowns are a composed side. I could say they are playing their ability to create spaces. So this is not a team you can do a man marking. You can do a space marking. No, if you will do a space marking against Sundowns, you'll be beaten. So I hope our girls are the fitness levels are at par with the Sundowns fitness levels for man marking because this is a team that you need to suffocate within their area because once you give them space, they'll punish you because I could watch how they were playing yesterday because Tofa is not an east side. It's a very difficult side. So, but Sundowns, you could see what they're doing starting from the build-up. This is not the Zescondora girls we know and how they played in the league where they're exchanging passes. I don't know whether it's being for the first time at CAF and they panicked a bit to some extent, especially second half. We just started pumping the balls and everything. So it was not really impressive to the standard that we know the girls to play. Tomorrow's game is a decider. If we beat Sundowns, we are winning the tournament. Remember, only the champions are going to play CAF Champions League. So the girls are well motivated. The EXCO is fully behind the girls. And they have really taken care of girls. And we hope the girls will perform up to the expectation of the nation. And I believe we are going to beat Sundowns by 2-1, if not 3-1. So it's I'm full of confidence they will come out of this group on top. And after that, Musmani, you have mentioned something. The challenge, Musmani, is COSAFA itself. They only announced on the 16th to say, no, it was actually on the 11th or 12th to say the tournament is going to be in South Africa. And the draws were actually done, should be on the 16th. So it was a bit difficult for team to communicate the venue because of the space of 1 week between when COSAFA actually announced, because it was known to say it's going to be in Botswana, the tournament, but last minute changes. So I think that's what we batted. Your cry has been heard. I think teams will do better next time because you've been crying over this with man for a long time. And apart from that, the league
He's a cry baby.
Sorry?
He's a cry baby.
So the league this weekend is on, and we see a lot of fixtures going on. But there's an interesting fixture. The team that finished third and fourth last season, their early fixtures has come, which is Green Buffalo versus Indeni. This one is a big fixture, and it's at 11 hours. It might be starting in a few minutes. Green Buffaloes, they have this thing when they're home, they love playing their games early kickoff so that they're going to watch other games. They use Muniz, they use this council ground that's near UTH. So because of that, it's like the owners of the ground, they use it in the afternoon. So Green Buffaloes versus Indeni, it's a game to watch this weekend because it's a big game. The last time they met, Green Buffaloes lost to Indeni. Indeni finished third, and Indeni is always in the top 3. Green Buffaloes is also always in the top 3, so this is a big game. Then Ruyando Foundation versus Musmani's Zanaco. Zanaco seems to be sharp this season. They're not fighting relegation like last season because both teams, they fought relegation from the start last season. They fought relegation from the start last season. So apart from that, Trident versus ZISD, Campinsa versus Green Eagles, another big issue. Let's United. Okay, yes. Okay, boss. Damn cut. Sorry, Nafka Paper Stadium. Changa Rangers versus Changa Rangers. Sorry. No. They wanted to stop me per gate. Changa Rangers also has Chipata Girls. So these are fixtures that are going on today, and the national division also is going to be. Women's football has developed in Zambia, and there are a lot of improvement that are there. And at least we are seeing a lot of professionalism that is taking place this season, and there's money actually now in the business. So we hope ZPO will continue improving, and we want to thank them for what they are doing. I think you can't find a team that's playing with unregistered players. Last season we had it with Eriti. This season it's Zesco United who has it. So I think those are the fixtures this weekend.
Jones, and you can also sign us off.
Yeah, we've seen Nkana signed a young player for the first time this off season, a younger player this time. Yeah, and that young player has really suffered. He's been all over South Africa, and it's good to see him find a club finally. And congratulations to both Nkana and Sakala Jr. Yeah, and this has been the Gate Up Show. Let's meet again next week, Saturday, same time, same place. Ciao.
Big Buyer is a horrible announcer. Big Buyer, horrible.
Okay, end it well. End it well with drum and the drums.
Also kama big shop, also kama so pale big buyer nawe. Month ya Mbosira hapa. Kuzafunika subscription.
Okay, guys, thanks, and see you next week, same time. We are here on several different platforms. Bwezani Mbewe, Pancherello, Chama, you and Cut Live. We between 8 hours up to around 10:30.
We haven't tackled one topic, Punch.
Oh yes, what are we doing for the rest of the day?
No, not that
me,
topic.
What topic?
Augustine Mukoka.
No, let's close.
Okay. What's for the rest of the day? For me, I'm going to be I'm probably going to go and see the Red Arrows game versus Mines United. Then I'm going to be just following up on what's taking place in the world of football, Zambian football, African football. And I think starting from next week, we will start covering the foreign-based players. Sometimes we don't have enough time because we've got so many things to cover for us to cover the foreign-based players, because we do know that we've got a number of our players who will be in action across the world in different leagues. So I think we'll start covering them next week. Yeah, but that's for me. That's for the rest of the day. Monitoring what our players are doing, monitoring different African and leagues across the world, and just following up on things. So, guys, Musiani, Midias, and then James, and then
Well, for
Jones.
me, obviously, I'm going to try and watch the game at 3 o'clock. I've got my radio show at 2 o'clock. After the radio show, we'll try and catch Super League games. Look at the quality. If the quality is not good, I'll be calling Bwezani and Milias, demanding my money back, and take my word for it. And then obviously tomorrow I'll be going to watch Zesco versus Mamelodi Sundowns. I'm really looking forward to, for me it's more excitement for my kids to actually experience that stadium vibe. So I'll be definitely very much going to that game. I've managed to get a few of my friends to go as well, and a few Zambians that I don't know who are going. So Zesco should know at least they'll have some Zambian support at the stadium. It won't be all Mamelodi Sundowns. And just so you know, a lot of my friends from Pretoria who are South African and Sundowns fans, in as much as the MTN8 is coming, Sundowns have also booked a couple of buses for their fans to come and watch this game. So it will be very serious for them, and we can only we can only say that we want to go to the stadium and win the game and get back home and be in excitement. So that's my weekend. Zesco United girls watching Arsenal later on at 6 o'clock, and of course catching the Zambia Super League games on my radio show.
All right. So for me, my weekends are simple. FIFA, football. Oh, so today I'm going to watch Green Buffaloes playing. Yeah, I want to watch Margaret Gon, the best defender in the land. So yeah, I think that's basically my weekend. Nothing really much to do.
Jones.
What am I give?
No, Tamba Margaret Gondwe. Tamba Margaret Gondwe.
Titamba Margaret Gondwe once.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing this afternoon, Punch. Thanks.
All right, guys, this has been the Get Up Show. Remember that these are our opinions that we share on this show. I know some people are always asking us, how do I join your live? I want to air my views. We do allow people once in a while to go live, but the challenge we've had in the past is that we've allowed people to come on board and then they are not consistent. So it's a bit of a challenge. When you come once, then you don't come, then you feel so we've restricted it to only those who really show commitment. So if you can show some commitment, I don't know, we'll talk with the guys. We'll see what level of commitment we need, and then we'll be able to say. And also, please note that when we come live, you may have heard us talking about subscription. For you to see these beautiful videos and pictures, because we don't have a sponsor. Remember that we are passionate about football. We pay for our own bundles. We also pay towards the airing of this show. So if you are seeing these videos, these pictures, the Get Up Show, that's a paid version of what we are using. I'm not the accounts guy. Jones will say how much we pay in total. I'm not particularly sure. I always tend to forget, but we all contribute.
Punch. It's at this point where we are appealing to all business world out there to sponsor this show. You can see the numbers on the show. You can see that it's people's favorite show. There's no show better than this one on a Saturday morning. So we are appealing to the business community out there to come on board and sponsor this show, make it your own, and hope we can just focus on doing research and bringing the best that we can on the show. So business world, take advantage of this platform and sell your goods, sponsor the show.
That which appeal. Jones,
Yes.
that's the worst language you can use. Upapata. No.
I'm selling. I'm selling.
Yeah, bad salesperson.
This is selling.
So for those who want to join, so we are obviously sponsors. We've got a sponsorship package for those who want to sponsor the show, please, you can inbox us. We've got a package for sponsorship. But as things stand, we all contribute so that this show comes with these beautiful visuals. We all contribute towards paying for this show. So we contribute per month. So that's why when other people come on board, we want to see some type of commitment because we pay. We all pay because of our passion. But otherwise, sponsors, you can inbox us on the platform in which it's showing, inbox, and then we can get talking. We can see how we can put your logo. We're a very popular show. As you can see, we have got huge numbers. Sometimes we reach 10,000, 5,000 views after a number of days. At our peak, we can reach 200, 300 views, people watching us on different platforms. So we are quite popular, and we've been consistent since when did we start the show, guys? 2023. Yeah. 2022, in fact, yes. 2022. So we've been consistent and we've become live each and every single weekend. It's reached a point that when we're late, people start inboxing us at why have you not come live? Why have you not come live? But it's Bwezani's fault or Musiani's fault. They've not shared the link. One guys, Kunkara serious. Eh?
Yeah, but
All right.
those who want to join, they have to wait for us to fire Kings first. We create space. That's when you can join us.
All right. Lawson said that we can contribute even if we're not direct participants. We'll see, Lawson. We'll try and think about how maybe others can contribute because we know that there are a lot of people who support us towards us paying our live stream. And we're very transparent. We'll even be sharing the payments and all that. With that said, guys, thanks. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.
Cheers.